What's going on, guys? Kyle with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we're going to be talking about my newest Spyderco addition to my collection. This is the Spyderco Smock, and it's a good one. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Like we said in the intro, today we're going to be talking about the Spyderco Smock. And oh, do I love this knife. This is my newest addition to my Spyderco collection, and I am so glad that I picked this thing up. It is probably the most fidgety knife that I own, and you guys know if you watch my videos that I love the fidget factor. This one is a little bit different than most of the Spydercos that you see, mainly because it has a button on it. What does that button do? Well, this thing is still a compression lock, but it has a button to release the compression. So you can kind of see back there, it's kind of hard to see, but you can still see the actual compression lock. It's just on the other side, and instead of using your finger to disengage it, this button comes by and disengages the blade. And I really hope that they do other models in this particular design. I think it's absolutely great. This knife, look at the flipper on this thing. So it is a flipper knife. Still has the Spidey hole, but look at the design of this thing. It doesn't stick out like most other flipper knives, which doesn't bother me a whole lot, but just the sleek design of this is really interesting and very functional. You can actually deploy this knife like 5 different ways. You can front flip or flip it like this, push the button to depress it. I find myself a lot just bringing my thumb over and flicking it back like that. Of course, you can do the Spidey flick. You can do the thumb flick.
No! Oh, okay.
Look what I did. This is what happens, kids, when you play with knives. Am I still going to play with knives? Yeah, it's so much fun.
I'm fine. Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
But on one of those little deployments, I skimmed my little thumb there. So we're going to carry on. And be honest with you, not the first time I've done that on video. If you look back at my videos and can tell me when I cut myself the last time, you might win a little prize. So if you go back through my videos and can see when the last time I cut myself, if you can figure it out, give me the timestamp and comment down below, and you might win a little something. Anyways, embarrassing myself a little. But back to the Smock. I really wanted this one to be my next Spyderco. I wanted something a little bit different as far as what I have in my Spyderco collection, and this was so different. You might look and see this right here. It looks like carbon fiber, and technically it is, but it's a carbon fiber laminate over G10. A lot of guys don't like that, and I'm not crazy about it. As you can see, you can also do this left hand as well. I'm not exactly crazy about it. I kind of wish they would have either bumped the price up a little bit to give full carbon fiber or just had plain G10. But, you know, not that big of a deal. This particular gentleman, Kevin Schmuck, I think there's his, if I can get it. There's his mark right there, Kevin Schmuck. He's the original designer of this knife. He's got a custom version of this thing, and Spyderco did a really good job of kind of mimicking it. Now, there's definitely some differences, but wow, look at that blade. It's got I guess that's a hollow grind. Yeah, that's what that is, a hollow grind. And so, you know, not the slicey, well, it slices, don't get me wrong, it slices pretty good. But I love this particular knife. I've done some chopping with some vegetables, does a great job with that, slicing through cheese. I love cheese, and because of that particular grind, it moves everything out of the way, and when you're slicing, and does a great job for food prep. Now, this steel is the S30V. See if you can actually pick that up. And this is one of the Taiwan knives. And this is the first one that I've had. I've heard nothing but great things about that particular manufacturing facility, and they haven't disappointed. I really have enjoyed this. The fit and finish is really, really good. One thing this knife does have is 2 detents. It has it has a detent down here to prevent the knife from coming out. And even if you press this button, the knife's not going to come out. You have to flick the knife open in some way, which is great. A lot of people, if you take this knife apart, the detent will come out to where that won't be, well, it's not really an issue, but it won't have that second detent in there. I think that I'm going to keep it in because I think the detent helps it become a better flicker. I don't know. I might try it. I might take it out and see what happens if I don't lose the ball in the spring because they're very tiny. And if you also notice, this, is it a finger choil? Is it a sharpening choil? It's the design of the blade. It has to have that cutout in there to be able to go over the push button bar. And, you know, I kind of wish if you would look at, if you could see the original design of this knife, it's actually a full rounded finger choil where you get your finger in there. Now, even with my meaty fingers, I can still get my finger around there and not really be worried about my finger getting caught, but it's not the best. It's definitely fine for sharpening choil. That works really well. But let's get a size comparison on this guy, shall we? We're going to bring out some other Spydercos. Of course, we have the Paramilitary 2. You can see that the Paramilitary 2 is just a little bit bigger than that. Let's bring out the other beast, the Spyderco Shaman, one of my favorite knives. You can see that the Shaman is also bigger than the Schmuck, and then the Spyderco Tenacious, which is a little bit smaller of a knife, but you can see that the Tenacious and the Smock, as far as lengthwise, you know, they're pretty close. Of course, this one is absolutely heavy because it's got the copper scales, but I love these copper scales. Let's get a weight on this thing. And that's the great thing about it, because this thing is super light. 3.65 ounces. So you really can't feel this in your pocket. That's an awesome weight for an EDC knife. Would you carry this for EDC? Oh man, yeah, this is a great blade for EDC. Now it does have the regular Spyderco pocket clip, as you can see. So it sits pretty shallow in the pocket, not deep at all. However, you can upgrade the pocket clip to get a deep carry clip, which I will probably end up doing. I don't really mind it sticking out of the pocket that much. It's not a big deal to me, but I know it is for a ton of other people. So this is my overview of this knife. I haven't had it very long. It's my newest addition to my Spyderco collection, and I'm so glad that I bought it. No buyer's remorse. I love the blade shape. I love the action. I can play with this thing all day long. Of course, I can cut myself too, but, you know, anyway. So, anyways, if you are looking to get a new Spyderco and you want something a little different than just your, your Spyderco with a compression lock, which these are great knives, and I have 2 of these because they are so awesome. But if you want something a little bit different, I don't see very many of these, so I would highly recommend it. It's got a great steel, it's got a very lightweight, good design, and just be able to flip it either which way you want. It's just so much fun. But anyways, I don't know if I went over the length and specs of this thing. Let's go ahead and do that now before we get off here. The length is 7.875 inches overall length. The blade length is 3.375 inches, and the cutting edge is under 3 inches at 2.875 with a blade width of about one inch from the very edge, about 1 inch there. And then it's about 120 thousandths for the blade stock. And I forgot to talk about this. The jimping's not the greatest in the world, but it looks nice. But as far as, I'd rather have the jimping like on the PM2 here. That would be my preference. So, you know, definitely not a perfect knife, but so much fun. Don't regret buying it at all. You can get these things for around $160, $175. And I do highly recommend it. If you have any questions on this knife, as always, leave it in the comments. If you want to see me do another particular knife, let me know. I have access to a bunch of knives. I've got a bunch more coming for review in this channel. If you like it, hit the like button. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos. And we will see you in the next one.